large clouds of gas. And these are some of the most spectacular images that WFC2 has ever taken. Can we have the next one? Including the pillars of creation. These are the sites where infant stars, like some sort of terrible kind of bug, start eating away the nascent clouds from which they were born, leaving behind just some dusty pillars, which they haven't yet gotten around to munching up yet. Can I have the next? In these clouds of gas out of which stars are forming, we often see these remnant disks surrounding these young stellar objects. These are traces of the formation of solar systems that are probably somewhat like our own. These are dusty debris disks that are left around young forming stars. And so with WFC2, we have seen some of the first direct imaging evidence of the kinds of process that, we are likely not alone in terms of the structure of our own solar system. So if we could have the next one. These star formation, as it runs to completion and the gas cloud around it dissipates, we see these rich clusters of stars that are all born together, these stellar nurseries. And these clusters of stars contain rich amounts of information about the ages of the stars within them, the metal contents of the stars within them, and they are wonderful laboratories within which to understand the process of star formation and this continual transformation of gas into stars throughout the universe. So we could have the next slide. These stars, not only are stars born, I mean, as much as poets tell you that stars are ever-changing, are constant features of the firmament, and that I will love you as long as stars live. Well, stars don't actually live forever. And this is the picture of a dying star. This is a planetary nebulae formed as one or possibly two stars are shedding their outer layers on their way to becoming a faint white dwarf. If we could have the next slide. This process of transforming gas into stars occurs primarily in galaxies. This is another center of a galaxy, and you can see all those those bright blue blotches tracing out the spiral arms. Each one of those is probably one of these stellar nurseries. So each one of those contains, tens to hundreds of thousands of stars. And you can peer all the way into the center of the galaxy itself. And with systems like WFC2, we're starting to trace out some of the structures that surround central black holes, as was talked about earlier. And if we could have the next slide. These galaxies themselves are also changing their forms as time goes on, is that through gravity they're attracted to each other, and they often are pulled together and interact and begin to make new forms and new structures and merge together to form ever new, larger, more complicated galaxies. And if we could have the next slide. And we see this process happening throughout time. Through the Hubble Deep Field, we're basically using the universe as a time machine and using the long time that it takes light from distant galaxies to reach us as a way of looking at postcards sent from the very early universe. And when we look back, we see more and more galaxies in these very disturbed, distorted states, showing that this process by which galaxies coalesce and merge together is very, very prevalent early on in the history of the universe. And it's only really at the present day that we start to see some of the more stable forms that we recognize as galaxies that show up on posters in dorm rooms throughout the country. Now, WFC2 has really touched all of these, and I haven't really touched on planetary astronomy